Your wives are all due to give birth at the same time. But be careful, as one of those babies will bring you nothing but disaster, tears, sorrow, and your downfall. Watch what you promise, and don't forget, I warned you about this. Once upon a time, in the vibrant town of Ibadan, there lived a wealthy and wise man known as Chief Bisi. Chief Bisi was admired for his immense wealth and fairness. He had 3 wives, Tolu, Amina, and Tiwa. Although they lived under the same roof, the 3 wives didn't get along. Each one was eager to prove herself the best. One sunny afternoon, Chief Bisi called his wives to the grand hall. The air was thick with tension as they awaited his words. "I have an announcement," Chief Bisi began, his voice echoing through the hall. "The first wife to give birth to a son will inherit all my wealth." The wives gasped. This was a shocking declaration. Each wife felt a surge of excitement and determination. They knew this was their chance to secure their future and the future of their child. The competition was on. As the days passed, the wives couldn't stop thinking about Chief Bisi's announcement. They eyed each other with suspicion and barely spoke. Each wife secretly hoped to be the first to bear a son, and the household was filled with silent rivalry. Tolu, the first wife, was confident. She believed she had the best chance of giving birth to a son first. Amina, the second wife, was determined and resourceful. She knew she had to do everything in her power to win. Tiwa, the youngest wife, was quiet but hopeful. She prayed silently for a son. Chief Bisi watched his wives with a mix of amusement and concern. He had hoped his announcement would motivate them, but he hadn't anticipated the tension it would create. Despite the rivalry, he remained hopeful that everything would turn out well. Months passed, and the wives eagerly awaited signs of pregnancy. The household was buzzing with anticipation. One morning, Tolu came running to Chief Bisi with a bright smile. "I'm pregnant," she exclaimed. Chief Bisi was thrilled and congratulated her warmly. Not long after, Amina also announced her pregnancy. "I am pregnant too," she declared with a proud smile. Chief Bisi was overjoyed and celebrated with her. The rivalry between the wives intensified as Tiwa hoped and prayed for her own good news. To everyone's surprise, Tiwa soon announced her pregnancy as well. "I'm pregnant," she said with tears of joy in her eyes. Chief Bisi was so excited. All 3 wives were pregnant at the same time. The household was filled with excitement and nervousness. The day of reckoning drew closer, and the excitement in the household reached its peak. The wives prepared for the big day, each one determined to be the first to give birth to a son and secure Chief Bisi's wealth. Finally, the long-awaited day arrived. As fate would have it, all 3 wives went into labor at the same time. The household was in chaos. Midwives rushed from one room to another, trying to manage the situation. Chief Bisi was nervous and excited. What were the chances of all 3 wives giving birth simultaneously? The tension was high as the midwives attended to the wives. The cries of labor filled the air. Chief Bisi paced back and forth, his heart pounding. He couldn't believe this was happening. He had promised his wealth to the first son born, but now it seemed like an impossible decision. After what seemed like an eternity, the midwives emerged from the rooms with joyful expressions. "They are all born at the same time," one midwife exclaimed. Chief Bisi was stunned. "How can this be?" he asked in disbelief. "What am I to do now?" The midwives explained that Tolu, Amina, and Tiwa had all given birth to healthy baby boys at exactly the same hour, minute, and second. It was a miracle. The wives, despite their rivalry, were overjoyed to hold their newborn sons. Chief Bisi was filled with mixed emotions. He was happy for his sons, but puzzled about how to fulfill his promise. 20 years had passed since the birth of David, Michael, and John. The once strong and vibrant Chief Bisi had grown old and frail. He knew it was time to decide who would inherit his wealth and leadership. One evening, he called his 3 sons to his bedside. "My sons," Chief Bisi said, his voice weak but firm, "I am not long for this world. To decide who will inherit my wealth, I have a challenge for you. You must go to the evil forest and bring me a golden flower. The first to bring it back will take over my wealth and leadership." David, Michael, and John listened intently, understanding the gravity of the task ahead. The evil forest was known for its dangers, but each of them was determined to prove themselves worthy. The next morning, David, Michael, and John prepared for their journey. They went to their mothers for guidance and blessings. Tolu gave David a protective amulet. "This will keep you safe from harm. Be brave, my son." Amina handed Michael an enchanted dagger. "Use this wisely and stay alert, my dear. You can do this." Tiwa gave John a pouch of healing herbs and a sturdy staff. "These will help you on your journey. Stay strong and come back safely." With their mother's blessings and gifts, the brothers felt ready to face the challenges ahead. At dawn, the brothers set off together. When they reached the edge of the evil forest, they decided to part ways, hoping to increase their chances of finding the golden flower. David chose a path through dense underbrush. The forest seemed to come alive around him, with shadows moving and strange sounds following his every step. He held his amulet tightly, trusting in its protective power. But as John was about to follow his own path, Michael called out to him, "Brother, come, let's go together." John was reluctant at first, thinking that splitting up would give them a better chance. But after a moment, he agreed and followed Michael. The tension between Michael and John grew as they continued their search for the golden flower. Each step they took deeper into the evil forest was filled with uncertainty. Michael's mind raced with thoughts of the inheritance and the promise of wealth and power. He couldn't shake the fear that John might find the flower first. As they navigated through the dense forest, Michael started to entertain darker thoughts. He glanced at John, who was walking a few steps ahead, and gripped his enchanted dagger tighter. Finally, unable to suppress his fear any longer, Michael made his move. As John paused to inspect a peculiar plant, Michael struck him with his poisonous dagger. John cried out in pain and fell to the ground, clutching his side. "Michael, why?" he gasped, his eyes wide with shock and betrayal. Michael stood over him, his face pale. "I can't let you take the flower, John. This is our only chance." John's vision blurred as the poison began to take effect. "We were supposed to do this together," he whispered before losing consciousness. In the other path, David ventured deeper into the evil forest alone, determined to find the golden flower and prove his worth. His protective amulet glowed faintly, guiding him through the dense and eerie forest. Despite the dangers, David's resolve remained strong. David's persistence paid off when he stumbled upon a small clearing. There, bathed in a mystical light, was the golden flower. Overwhelmed with excitement and relief, David shouted, "Brothers, hurry, come, I have found the flower." Hearing David's call, Michael rushed to the clearing. Upon seeing the flower, he forced a smile and congratulated David. "Well done, David, you did it." David's joy was momentarily tempered by concern. "Where is John?" he asked, looking around anxiously. Michael hesitated before lying. "We were attacked by wild animals. John didn't make it." David's face crumpled with grief. "No, not John." He sank to his knees, tears streaming down his face. The loss of his brother hit him harder than the challenges of the forest. Michael placed a hand on David's shoulder, trying to mask his guilt. "We have to be strong, David. Let's take the flower and head back home. Father needs us." With heavy hearts, the brothers began their journey back. David carried the golden flower carefully, its light a bittersweet reminder of their success and John's supposed sacrifice. As they walked, David's mind was clouded with sorrow and confusion. He couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right about Michael's story. But he pushed the doubts aside, focusing on getting home. Michael's eyes narrowed with determination. In a sudden, cold-blooded move, he drew his dagger and struck David, who gasped in shock and pain. David fell to the ground, clutching his wound, the golden flower slipping from his grasp. "You small boy, you think you can take over Father's wealth? Never. Not when I am alive, Michael sneered, his voice dripping with malice. He snatched the golden flower and left hurriedly, not looking back at his fallen brother. David lay on the ground, hurting and confused. He tried to stop the bleeding from his wound with a healing herb, but it was tough. He knew he had to act fast. He started shouting for help. A hunter passing nearby heard David's cries of pain. Curious, he followed the sound and stumbled upon the wounded young man. "Goodness gracious! What happened to you, my son?" the hunter exclaimed, rushing to David's side. But David was too weak to talk. The hunter's heart swelled with compassion, and without hesitation, he lifted David onto his shoulders and began the journey back to his home. The hunter's hut was small but cozy, filled with the warmth of a crackling fire and the comforting scent of herbal remedies. He gently tended to David's wounds, cleaning and dressing them with skillful hands. "You'll be as good as new in no time," the hunter assured David, offering him a soothing herbal tea to ease his pain. David felt a wave of gratitude wash over him. Despite the betrayal of his brother, he found solace in the kindness of this stranger. As David rested and recovered in the hunter's hut, he was attended to not only by the skilled hands of the hunter, but also by the gentle care of the hunter's beautiful daughter. With her soothing words and tender touch, she helped ease David's pain and lift his spirits. Under their attentive care, David's wounds began to heal, and his strength returned day by day. As he regained his health, he shared his story with the hunter and his daughter, grateful for their kindness and support. Meanwhile, back in the village, Michael returned home. The stolen golden flower clutched tightly in his hand. His mother, Amina, welcomed him with open arms, overjoyed to see her son safe and triumphant. Rushing to his father's side, Michael demanded, "Father, give me your wealth right now. I have brought you the golden flower, as promised." Chief Bisi, along with John and David's mother, looked on in surprise. Chief Bisi noticed something wasn't right as Michael demands for his wealth. He asked about David and John. Michael, with fake tears, claimed they were attacked by wild animals, that he managed to escape unhurt. After listening to Michael's story about his brother's fate in the forest, Chief Bisi solemnly informed him that he would need to wait for a few weeks before any decisions regarding his inheritance could be made. Michael and his mother exchanged disappointed glances, feeling the weight of uncertainty settle upon them. Feeling angry and frustration, Michael lashed out at his father, calling him a wicked old man. "After I risked my life for a dirty golden flower, this is all I get," he exclaimed bitterly, his words dripping with resentment. With that, he stormed out of the room with his mother, leaving behind a cloud of tension and bitterness. As Michael's angry footsteps faded into the distance, a heavy silence descended upon the room. David and John's mother wept bitterly, their heart torn apart by the loss of their sons. Chief Bisi, too, felt a pang of sorrow deep within him, knowing that something was not right about Michael's story. Determined to manipulate Chief Bisi's mind, Amina took her son to a native doctor. But to their surprise, the native doctor refused to comply, recognizing the depth of their wickedness. "You have done enough evil," he declared sternly. "Go home and confess your sins." Michael was furious and refused to confess. "I won't confess," he shouted angrily. "I'd rather die than admit I did something wrong." Amina stood by her son, agreeing with him. "Don't worry, my son," she said. "We'll find another powerful native doctor that will help us." Returning home, Michael and Amina were greeted with a sight that sent shivers down their spines. David, once thought to be dead, sat beside Chief Bisi, hale and healthy. Michael's blood ran cold as he struggled to comprehend what he was seeing. "You are dead," he exclaimed in disbelief, his voice trembling with fear. "How could you, Michael?" David's voice trembled with emotion as he addressed his brother. "I thought we were brothers. You killed John and tried to kill me. You thought I was dead and left me behind, not knowing I was saved by a kind hunter and his beautiful daughter, my future wife, who are right beside me now. Confess your sins to Father now, before it's too late." But Michael remained stubborn, refusing to admit his wrongdoings. "Never! I will never confess," he shouted, his voice filled with stubbornness and pride. With that, he ran out of the house, determined to escape the consequences of his actions. As Michael was running on the street, a speeding motorbike collided with him, ending his life in an instant. The rider, sensing trouble, fled the scene, leaving Michael's lifeless body on the roadside. Amina, witnessing her son's untimely demise, felt her world shatter into a million pieces. With tears streaming down her face, she rushed to Michael's side, her cries of anguish echoing through the air. But before she could reach him, a bolt of lightning tore through the sky, claiming her life in a tragic twist of fate. Mother and son, now reunited in death, lay side by side, their journey cut short by the cruel hands of destiny. Chief Bisi, his wives, and David remained unmoved by the tragic demise of Michael and Amina. "That serves them right," Chief Bisi remarked, a small smile tugging at the corners of his lips. "The wicked shall never go unpunished." In a fitting end to their tale of deceit and betrayal, Michael and Amina's caskets were solemnly carried to the depths of the evil forest, where their sins would forever be laid to rest. As the villagers looked on, a sense of closure washed over them, knowing that justice had been served. As the days passed, Chief Bisi's health began to decline, but before he passed away, he made a final decision that would shape the future of his family. In his will, he bestowed all his wealth and possessions upon David, entrusting him with the responsibility of carrying on his legacy. In a few short months, David found himself standing at the altar, exchanging vows with the hunter's beautiful daughter. Their wedding was a celebration of love and redemption, a symbol of hope for a brighter future. Surrounded by families and friends, they embarked on a new chapter of their lives together. With the weight of his father's inheritance upon his shoulders, David dedicated himself to building a brighter future for his family and his village. He invested in education, healthcare, and infrastructure, ensuring that future generations would have the opportunities they deserved. Dear amazing viewers, if you enjoyed this captivating story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Turn on post notifications to get notified whenever we upload new videos. Stay blessed.